Hey there, just finished reading The Humans by Matt Haig, and it's a wonderful book. Definitely recommend it to everybody who is human. Um, a little bit about the book itself. Matt Haig wrote The Humans when he was going through severe mental health problems and questioning himself in the world and having a kind of panic attack. And that was in 2000, I believe, and he kind of let the idea sit with himself for a while and then eventually published the book. And it basically takes the narrative of an alien from this planet, and the planet is called Vanadoria, and he takes the body of a professor who has discovered something called the Riemann hypothesis, which is a mathematical theory that, once discovered, which he did discover, will, in this world of science fiction, give humans the power to do things like travel galaxies and understand way more than we currently do. Hence why this alien has been assigned to come to Earth and take over this professor's body to prevent the knowledge from being spread. So, very interesting premise that is very out of left field and sci-fi, but also not too out of reality to be something reasonable in terms of technological process damaging Earth and stuff like that. So, first off, this narrative framing is fascinating. An alien and his thoughts of the human species, for all the good and all the bad, but overall it is mostly for the good, as he's enamored by the emotion and hope humans can have despite their own mortality and loss. Some funny things that I picked up along the read was that there is, I don't want to spoil anything, so I guess I'll just cover more general ideas, but just ideas like the absurdity of wearing clothes and cover our bodies are picked at from the alien's narrative, pointing out to their absurdity of these little details that we feel are so important. And when he kind of first comes into the body, he has frenzy of going around naked and causes a little bit of a ruckus. And that was really funny too, from that point of view. And it's also funny that there's this theme of every day besides Saturday being demonized. So 6 days of our 7 days are not lived out to their fullest potential, which I found a lot of resonance to. I think it's kind of hilarious that we point out to the weekends being the savior of our existence, but why can't a Monday be a Saturday? Why can't a Wednesday be a Saturday? Work should be your play, and play should be what you want to do in this world. So little things like that in terms of our structure that this alien narrative is able to frame in a really interesting way. Also, there's a point where the alien is giving, because the alien's never given an actual name, which is interesting too within itself, but the alien in the body of Professor Martin gives the son of Professor Martin advice on how to live a meaningful life and get by in the best way possible. And there's a lot of interesting anecdotes from that list which stood out to me, but one of them was talking about war and how war is the answer to the wrong question. I feel like you just have to sit with that, and Haig is just full of these interesting quotes and symbolisms and metaphors that he incorporates and interweaves throughout his work, whether it's this or his Midnight Library or other things that he's written. And I'm definitely a big fan of it, but this is probably my favorite of his. Also, there's a point where he was talking about mentally ill people through the alien's narrative, and he was disturbed in a way that these are the people who are considered outcasts, even though they're the only ones contemplating their mortality, which kind of just blew my mind. Like, maybe everybody else who's not in a mental asylum are the mental ones, because how can we carry out our lives knowing all the pain and hurt ahead? Not an optimistic way to look at life, but there is some truth in it nonetheless. And overall, through poetry and fiction, the alien's character becomes very comfortable and even loving towards humanity, which in a way you can see is Matt Haig maybe inserting himself into this character, which is why I think he said it's, in a weird kind of way, autobiographical. And I'll stop by just reading out a couple of quotes that stood out to me. Find them. So we have, I thought this one was funny, about capitalism. It's very early on in the book, so not a spoiler. So yeah, you can't really do the framing of this book justice. You kind of just have to read from the source. So here it is. Indeed, their chief purpose is to generate a sense of inferiority in the reader that consequently leads to a feeling of needing to buy something, which the humans then do, and then feel even worse, and still need to buy another magazine to see what they can buy next. It is an eternal and unhappy spiral that goes by the name of capitalism, and it is really quite popular. So just this idea that we read magazines, which then promote other magazines, which promote more magazines and things that will supposedly give us happiness, which is never enough happiness because we need more things. And it's these little absurdities that have a lot of truth in them that the alien points out throughout the course of the book that make it a really compelling story. And each chapter is framed in a really interesting way and title related to what the alien is discovering or something that happens. One is called Peanut Butter, another is Emily Dickinson. So a wonderful read by Matt Haig. I look forward to whatever he has next. But what did you think of The Humans if you read it? And if you didn't, I definitely recommend it.